Listen, do you want your sales team to look like this or this?
Everybody have a good week?
Well, if you don't listen to what I'm about to tell you, there is no way your team is going to be crushing sales for you. In the last 5 years or so, I've been part of 3 different sales organizations who've generated collectively over $30 million. I've worked in those organizations, both in the front lines closing deals myself, but also being in the leadership positions in sales management. So I've seen a lot, and to me, it's so obvious that there are a handful of mistakes that a lot of sales leaders simply forget. If you do forget this, not only will it sink your results and your profitability, it might actually cause you to lose money due to your sales team. What's the common theme across everything that I'm gonna be sharing with you today? That this is the unsexy stuff. This is the type of stuff that you probably don't even think of when you're considering sales. And I promise you, it's not gonna be featured in The Wolf of Wall Street when you watch that movie. So let's start off with what I believe to be maybe the most important element that enables a sales team to thrive. And so many companies forget about this. And this first element is building SOPs, standard operating procedures. These are essentially instruction manuals that anyone can follow. And that way, your sales reps can actually succeed and do something correctly in a completely repeatable manner. This can include having training documentations that teach new employees about the offer that they're gonna be selling, or instructional videos that the new reps could watch in order to just understand how to use the internal softwares that you're probably providing them in order to do their job effectively. Even sales scripts and objection handling FAQs that you're giving your sales reps could be considered part of your SOPs. The problem is a lot of companies will actually feel the pain of not having a salesperson, and then they'll just rush into bringing on that talent before they go and spend the time building out these SOPs. And what happens is the new sales guy or sales girl comes in and they have no idea how to do their job. They'll ask, how do I do this? But then, because the company has never documented these instructions, it ends up being the manager saying, well, go and figure it out. Or they would need to take up a ton of their own time trying to manually train this new rep, neither of which makes sense in a growing company. So it's really critical that this is actually done prior to you even hiring your initial rep. Here are a couple of the SOPs that we've built internally. You can actually see that we have an entire section that focuses mostly on new employees understanding our business as a whole. That would include customer psychology. It would include our competition, how we actually differentiate, even the way in which we fulfill and provide a great experience for our end clients. It goes into exact detail as well about their sales role, right? How do they generate leads? How do they close deals? We provide all the sales scripts in here alongside video documentation of how we actually go through the sales pitch. We might even have some recorded sales calls in here so that your sales team can really understand and see it for themselves how it's all done. These things might seem like overkill, and they might not feel necessary when the team is small, but as you scale, as you add additional employees, process and systems and documentation is the stuff that allows your company to not break or suffer any reductions in quality. Now, before we get into the second element, please just drop us a like and a subscribe. We are releasing new content literally every single week, more so about sales and marketing and building teams. So if you're a scaling company or you're an entrepreneur that's looking to grow, this is gonna be really impactful stuff for you. Alrighty folks, I do have to admit, I might have actually lied just a little bit earlier in the intro. The truth is, the next step that I'm gonna be talking about actually was mentioned in The Wolf of Wall Street.
What do you say?
You mean to tell me that if I put you in at Union Carbide at a 7, it took you out at 30?
And this element is, in fact, coaching and management. So one of the biggest issues that many companies have is that they'll hire a salesperson, but then they'll just give them a couple weeks of training at the start and then forget about them. Let me emphasize this. Those first few weeks of training are critical. So if you're even doing that, that's much better than nothing. That being said, this is only sufficient for the foundational level of skill that a sales rep needs to have. In fact, if you want your sales rep to get to the maximum level of ability, they need to be given coaching and training literally every single week. Some teams will even have it multiple times a week in terms of their training. And let me tell you a bit of a story. When I joined the first company that ever hired me out of university, the sales training regimen that they actually put us on was insane. Literally every single week I had to do a one-on-one with my boss. We would go through reviewing my sales pipeline. We would listen to a bunch of the calls that I had and he'd give me feedback. And we would even do role plays just so I could make sure that the way in which I handled objections and the way in which I asked questions and pitched was super on point. The company would even hire some sort of external sales trainer, spending probably tens of thousands of dollars just to give the entire sales team a motivational boost as well as additional training. And this is why I think I got so good so fast. Compared to the next company that I worked for, where because it was a brand new startup and we pretty much had no budget, a lot of the employees had to kind of just figure it out themselves. And I can notice that the ramp up time was significantly longer. It took them on average 3 to 6 months to get to a profitability, whereas that first company that I was working for, most reps were actually doing well even within the first 4 weeks. So it just makes a huge difference whether or not you're truly and properly onboarding and training your sales team. So the question is, are you putting in the same level of effort for your sales team? Are you going all in on helping them improve their skill, improving them develop? If you're not even doing that, then you're leaving money on the table. So far, we've talked about how important it is to your overall sales team success and profitability to have really good coaching and training, as well as having built out SOPs. But the other thing that also improves dramatically when you're able to incorporate those two elements is just your employee retention. If you have really great training, if you have really good SOPs, it's much more likely that your sales team will actually end up staying with your company long term, 12 months, 24 months, sometimes even years and years. This actually gives you a lot of benefits because obviously the more senior someone is in your business, the more likely they're going to perform at a high level. Whereas whenever you're constantly needing to hire brand new sales reps because your old ones left or you had to fire them, you need to retrain them all over again, which costs them a lot of money. You got to even just go and find the hire in the first place. And everyone knows that hiring is a pretty expensive process. What you really want to do is not only amplify your success when a sales rep is on the team, but you also want to ensure that you're building an environment which allows your sales reps to stick around for years and years. Doing these things will actually achieve both of those end outcomes. So that's really important. So with that being said, if you are interested in learning about how to hire your quality salespeople first and foremost, I do have a video that I recorded just about this topic. We break it down A to Z, step by step, how to actually hire the best salespeople. So just check it out here, click on the link, and enjoy some of that additional great information. By the way, I've helped over 120 plus companies already when it comes to building out sales teams, improving their sales team results, and optimizing their performance. So if you want to work with me, just click on my calendar link, which is in the description box below, and we can set up a quick time to chat. I'll give you a couple of recommendations, and hopefully that'll allow your sales team to prosper and thrive heading into the future. So have a good one, guys. Thank you so much for paying attention all the way through, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.